On April 8, 1945, approximately 5 miles northwest of Weimar in Nazi Germany, prisoners at the Buchenwald concentration camp utilized a secret shortwave transmitter and a small generator to send a Morse code message to the Allies. To the army of General Patton. This is the Buchenwald concentration camp. SOS. We request help. They want to evacuate us. The SS want to destroy us. 3 minutes later, desperate prisoners received a message of hope. Hold out. Rushing to your aid. Staff of 3rd Army. 3 days later, on April 11th, the U.S. 6th Armored Division liberated Buchenwald, discovering over 21,000 survivors who were weak and emaciated. Among them were nearly 1,000 minors, mostly teenagers, and one young boy, only 4 years old, whose tear-stained face holding a crude wooden scooter would become an iconic symbol of the Holocaust. His name was Joseph Schleifstein. Born to Jewish parents on March 7, 1941, in the Jewish ghetto in Sandomierz, located in German-occupied Poland, Joseph Schleifstein and his parents, Azriel and Esther, endured life in the Sandomierz ghetto from June 1942 to January 1943. After the ghetto's liquidation, the family was relocated to the Czestochowa ghetto, where Joseph's parents likely worked in one of the Hazig factory camps. During World War II, Hazig transformed into a Nazi arms manufacturing conglomerate, operating numerous factories across German-occupied Europe that utilized slave labor on a massive scale. Thousands of Jews, including those from Poland, and other prisoners perished while producing munitions for Hazig. To protect Joseph from the threat of Nazi guards, who would kill children deemed too young for labor, his parents hid him in a cellar. In January 1945, with the closure of the Hazig camps and the transfer of operations to Germany, the Schleifstein family was deported to the Buchenwald concentration camp, arriving on January 20, 1945. Upon arrival, Joseph's parents were sent to the right to become slave laborers, while Joseph was directed to the left, along with small children and elderly individuals deemed unfit for work, who were to be immediately murdered. Amidst the chaos of lining up, Joseph's father seized an opportunity. He found a large sack and, with a stern warning for silence, placed Joseph inside. Disguised among his father's leather crafting tools and some clothing, Joseph was smuggled into the camp undetected by the guards. Meanwhile, Joseph's mother was sent to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, and those who had been directed to the left were all executed. For a period, Joseph remained hidden by his father with the assistance of 2 anti-fascist German prisoners. However, he was eventually discovered. Remarkably, Joseph's life was spared, partly due to his father's valued craftsmanship and partly because the Germans developed a fondness for the child. The SS guards even treated Joseph as a camp mascot, dressing him in a child-sized striped uniform for morning roll calls, during which he would salute and report, all prisoners accounted for. Yet, during formal inspections by visiting Nazi officials, Joseph had to be concealed. Despite this unique treatment, Joseph narrowly escaped execution at one point, thanks to his father's intervention. In Buchenwald, his father's skills in saddle and harness making were highly valued. During his time in captivity, Joseph fell seriously ill and spent a period at a camp hospital. Buchenwald was liberated on April 11, 1945, by the U.S. 6th Armored Division. Following General Patton's tour of the camp, he ordered the mayor of nearby Weimar to bring 1,000 citizens to Buchenwald to witness the crematorium and other evidence of Nazi atrocities. This was to ensure that the German people would acknowledge and take responsibility for Nazi crimes. The scenes they encountered, including emaciated survivors, gruesome displays of human skin artifacts, and shrunk human heads, left many in shock, with some fainting at the horrors before them. When the citizens of Weimar visited Buchenwald, claiming ignorance of the atrocities, survivors like Gert Schramm, who had endured imprisonment from July 1944 until liberation, harbored skepticism. Schramm remembered feeling a sense of indictment, thinking, "Now have a look what happened here with your acquiescence." Between July 1937 and April 1945, the SS incarcerated around 250,000 individuals from across Europe in Buchenwald. Exact mortality figures remain uncertain, as many prisoners were never officially registered. Nonetheless, it is estimated that at least 56,000 male prisoners, including approximately 11,000 Jews, were murdered within the camp system. Joseph Schleifstein, photographed numerous times upon liberation, often wore makeshift outfits crafted from German soldiers' uniforms due to severe clothing shortages affecting him and other young children. For Joseph, liberation brought joy on multiple fronts. Firstly, he no longer had to live in hiding. Secondly, he reveled in the abundance of food and drink available. Most importantly, Joseph cherished the rides offered by American soldiers on tanks and jeeps. However, for many liberated boys, the aftermath of Buchenwald was far bleaker. Having endured the horrors of the Holocaust and the loss of their parents, some expressed profound trauma. One survivor recounted the immediate loss of his father and witnessing his brother's murder. The inhumane treatment they endured left these boys struggling to reintegrate into society. Their upbringing in an environment of terror and death led to rebelliousness, anger, and educational deficiencies. Society often viewed them as damaged individuals destined for psychopathy, necessitating their re-education in even the most basic aspects of life, including meal etiquette. Their profound hunger and lack of exposure to ordinary behavior left them with no concept of table manners. They would toss food, stuff it into their pockets for later, and devour it quickly, finishing their meals within minutes. With the patient guidance of caring mentors, these boys gradually relearned proper behavior. As they prepared to leave the orphanage and venture out on their own, many chose to relocate to Australia or Canada, seeking to distance themselves from their traumatic pasts. Joseph's father wasted no time in his quest to find Esther, but his search was fruitless. Fortunately, the Jewish Joint Distribution Committee assisted them in traveling to Switzerland for a period of recuperation. After a few months, they returned to Germany to continue the search, and miraculously found Esther alive in Dachau, southern Germany, where they resettled as a family. Joseph played a crucial role in the Buchenwald camp trial held in Dachau by an American military tribunal from April 11 to August 14, 1947. He testified against 31 former guards and camp officials, resulting in the sentencing of 22 to death and the rest to prison. In 1948, the Schleifstein family immigrated to the United States, eventually settling in Brooklyn, where Joseph's brother Benjamin was born in 1950. Israel Schleifstein passed away in 1956, followed by his wife Esther in 1997. Despite his experiences, Joseph remained silent about his past for decades, even with his own children. Memories of hiding in dark cellars haunted him, causing terrible nightmares and a lifelong fear of darkness. Today, Joseph Schleifstein is a father of two who retired in 1997 after 25 years with an American telecommunications company. Joseph's story served as inspiration for the 1997 film, Life is Beautiful, which won 3 Academy Awards. Despite the Nazis' attempts to exterminate the Jewish people, they ultimately failed. Joseph's survival and his participation in the Buchenwald camp trial, resulting in the execution of 11 Nazi criminals, stand as a testament to his bravery and resilience. His legacy lives on through his 2 children, ensuring that his story of survival and courage continues to inspire future generations. After 8 decades since the Holocaust claimed the lives of 6 million Jews, only a handful of survivors remain to share their first-hand accounts. In today's world, marked by Holocaust denialism and a resurgence of nationalist sentiment across Europe, it becomes increasingly critical to share and safeguard the lessons learned from this dark period in history. As the saying goes, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. By preserving and sharing the memories and experiences of Holocaust survivors, we strive to ensure that the atrocities of the past are never forgotten and that future generations are equipped to combat hatred, bigotry, and injustice.